How's it going, dudes? As you probably guessed by the title of the video, we're deleting this junk here, so I've got more room for my turbo, which is coming up in the next couple of episodes. Once I've got my power steering and stuff sorted, I'm going to run the full fuel system, get the injectors in, scale them on the ECU, sort of remap it slightly just to suit, and then we'll get started on fabrication. So custom headers, custom dump pipe, full exhaust system, all that fun stuff. Should be fun. So first of all, I suppose we get into what you're going to need to convert your engine driven power steering to an electronic power steering pump. This is it. This is everything you're going to need. So the power steering pump, anything Holden Astra from 1998 to 2005, which is a TS for Sam Astra, they all have this type pump that sits down the back underneath the battery. If you're going to go this way, you're going to use this pump, try and get it with the complete harness with the fuse block. It's just a lot easier. A lot of places cut it off down here, and then you've got to put connectors on here, run a full length of wiring. It's a pain in the ass, rather than just find a spot to ground that. Chop the connector off of that. You only need 2 of these. I can't remember which ones they are, but there's 2 of them that are like a low current draw remote. You trigger those with a switched power. That's what turns that on. So constant positive, ground, 2 remotes to turn it on. Now this is our high pressure line, so that is that part number there. Don't know if that'll focus or not, but yeah, length will be depending on where you want to put the pump. That's going to be custom to your application. Mine, I got a meter because it's going underneath the guard where I've started to cut back this seam sealer. I'm going to weld a mount there, drill a hole here, it's going to mount there, and then I might throw another mount off the side here just to stiffen it, make sure it's solid. The filler is going to be in underneath the headlight. Not entirely ideal, but if you think about, I've got to have the turbo hot side come down underneath here, then it's going to come around into the intercooler. I've got really nowhere else to put it, so I guess this far away from the driver too. If it ends up being quite a noisy pump, I'm not going to hear it, which is good. But back to parts. Aeroflow is the only company that I know of that do everything you need. I know Speedflow do one of these, but not both of them, I'm pretty sure, or I just didn't do enough research. But either way, that is your part number there for the power steering pump side of things. It's your adapter. It's a -6 30-degree flare AN fitting. Then you've got this one. That is your pump adapter. So out of this fitting here, that's that adapter there. Then 2 90-degree -6 hose ends. This is just the cutter series. Doesn't give you the name of it. I think it's 100 series. It's 100 series or 150 series hose. You can use the Teflon PTFE hose. I just chose not to. This stuff is a lot more flexible than the PTFE, so when I'm running it up and underneath everything, it's able to flex, and the other stuff kind of kinks and it's a bit not great. Last thing you'll need is 3/8 10mm transmission. Yeah, you can use transmission hose, and that's going to feed back from your cooler back into the bottle, the reservoir. But yeah, let's get started. So first step is going to be suss out how it fits. For mine, obviously explained it's going to go here. It's just perfect where it is. It's out of the road, sort of sits in line with the bottom of the Rio there. I can route intercooler piping under it or around it. Just probably a little bit of a shit to fill because the cap's up underneath the headlight. So this over here, if you can see that there, lines up really well. All I got to do is drill a hole through that, put a nut on that side. But over here, behind in there, I'm going to need to weld a 45-degree bracket onto it. I've got it here. When I got the pump, it actually came with the factory Astra bracket, which puts it down underneath. It's going to be completely useless for this, but I can cut tabs off and weld the tabs to the car that suit the pump. They're rubber fitted, rubber mounted I should say. So I'm gonna mark up where that's gonna be welded, cut back all that. Let's get into it. Beautiful. Brackets welded in, holes drilled. We'll do another fit up of the pump. Put pump in, make sure it sits right, bolt it up. Give it a shake, I suppose. If it then sits right, no issues, we'll work on plumbing. Got it fitted, it's bolted in there, but it's just a little flimsy. It's not quite how I want it, and it's sitting on the cap there, it's sitting hard up. So I'm going to buff this off with the whizzer and cut another piece of plate off of the factory mount that I got with it, and just make a mount straight down from here straight to there to hold it up and away. That way it clears everything else and it should hold it nice and stiff. This is what the factory mount looks like when it comes out of the Astra, minus that piece I've cut off and welded into the car already. By the looks of it, the longest side is going to be this one. So I'll cut it down here, just cut it off there, straighten the tab out a little bit, line it up in the car and we'll weld it there. There we are. I just got to find the little 10mm bolt for that, and then just kick it up a little bit, bolt it in. That looks perfect. Quick coat of black, to stop any future rusting. That mount's welded in. Found the nut for it, surprisingly. Found the correct one too. Torch there correctly. Yeah. So that one was an easy one. Drill a hole, no dramas. That one's kind of a bendy bracket, and then you got the one over the back. Nice and simple, 45 degree. Weld it straight to the chassis. I don't think that'll be giving me any issues. Probably not going to continue this today. You guys obviously see it as one whole thing, but I sort of run out a bit of motivation. I'm ready to go and have a beer. It's Saturday afternoon. Alrighty, we are back at it. I've skipped the process of fitting everything and doing all the stupid annoying stuff just because it's a pain and I didn't have enough time to. It's sort of a nice afternoon on a Tuesday. So it's actually been 3 weeks since those first clips. I just have not had the time, and I knew this was going to be a pain. So pump's gone. I've swapped out this pulley here to a ribbed pulley from that there, a smooth sort of the back side of the belt pulley. That ribbed pulley there is actually the same as this, just a brand new one obviously, and I've spaced it out approximately 3 or 4 mil just to get it in line with the direction of the belt. If you don't get that right, you'll throw belts constantly. So give you a rundown, see how we go. So pumps in, same as you guys saw last time. There's a cap around here somewhere. There it is. So it's actually fully bled and running at the moment. So if I was to start the car up, it would switch on and I'd have power steering. But you can see there, it's fitting, the cable tied together. So just regular transmission line, 3/8 10mm for the return. That comes back from my cooler down in the front here. And we've got the dash, so I want to say dash 6 high pressure feed comes through underneath the body of the car and up to where the pump used to be. So these are all aeroflow fittings, runs into the feed down here. Now power, there's an 80 amp inline fuse there. Everything's all insulated, it's not going to ground. And I'm actually running it straight off of the alternator due to the battery going in the boot. So that's probably the next thing. I'm going to relocate the battery, stick that in the boot, because I'm going to have 3 really big pumps. So one really big intake and then 2 externals. So I'm going to need all the power I can at the back of the car. The ground, so I sort of split the loom. Brought the loom underneath the radiator, insulated of course, you don't want that rubbing through. That plug I spoke to you about in the last clips, I found which 2 wires were the remote. You join those 2 into one, and then you run that one feed all the way up into the power trigger for your fuel pump. So when your fuel pump's running, the power steering's running. That's the thing that made the most sense to me. And the wiring's all hidden underneath. You've got to pull the fuse box out, flip it up and find the purple wire that comes from that relay. What else we got? The ground, yeah. So I just hit it with a whizzer, then nut inserted an M5 bolt. Got a nice washer on that bolt there to hold it down. And that's that for power. The fluid you're going to need if you're going to do this conversion is an LDAS, full synthetic. It's to suit European vehicles. The way you want to get this into that, if you're going to put it here, I guess, it's going to be with one of these, just a little pumper thingies. I've used 2 liters almost to flush through the system. So what you want to do to get the fluid flush through it, because these do not run well. They overheat and they cook and burn up, and it chews through the seals in it if you run Dex 3, which is what Commodores will normally run their power steering. So yeah, leave the return off, dump it into somewhere not on the ground, because EPA will come and fist your ass. Yeah, so run that into a waste drum, and then what you want to do is try and bridge the relay, so it turns the pump on, which then turns this on, and while that's happening, all your old fluid's going to come out of here. You're going to be trying to keep up and pump new fluid into here. Once this comes out green instead of red, you're done. So you'll just want to put the return line back on, keep it feeding and running until this stabilizes, top it up to maximum, and you're good to go. As for the belt routing, you're going to come around the balancer, up and over your tensioner, underneath the pump, over that idler, down to the alternator, then back to the crank. That's basically the way it was run before, except you had a power steering one. You went up to the power steering before the alternator. I think that's gonna be about it. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna be about it. If I missed anything, or you want to know anything extra, or you have any questions of your own about doing it, you're stuck, you need some help, don't be afraid to hit me in the comments, and do my best to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.